In this episode, we're going to go over some tips for applying for your first tech job. We're going to look at some of the jobs you should target. We're also going to look at getting your resume together. And then we're going to look at some of the best websites to find those tech jobs. So there's one website that I think everyone should be on that a lot of new grads or people that's looking to get into the field may not have a profile on, or you may have created a profile and you just forgot about it. But this is one key website that I think has been a game changer in finding your first tech role. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Welcome to Debt Free in IT. My name is Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get in the IT field, whether you're looking for a career change or you're just curious. So applying for your first tech job, we all know, is a difficult task. So in 2008, I graduated from a community college. I had a networking and security associate's degree, as well as a Cisco CCNA certification. Even with that, it took me about 4 to 5 years to land my first job in IT. So after I was there and started to learn the different job titles and the roles, then I realized why it took me so long to land my first job in IT. Now, just being honest, everybody's path is going to be a little bit different. Some people may land jobs as faster than others, but here's some of my thoughts. And like I said, some of my thoughts that I think may have took my process a little bit longer. So the first thing is that I think held me back is I was targeting the wrong job titles. I didn't know what entry-level jobs that I should have been applying for. So I figured since I had a Cisco CCNA, I should be applying for the network engineer role, security engineer, senior engineer, and senior security engineer roles. So these are all roles that most of us know takes a couple years of experience to obtain. So now that I look back and think about it, ain't no one in their right mind gonna let me, who didn't have no network experience, who didn't even have no enterprise experience, get under their network and be able to handle that responsibility without even being in an enterprise environment in the first place. So some of the roles that I think I should have been applying for was the entry-level roles, like help desk analyst, computer operations. If I'm aiming towards networking, like I said, network administrator, network technician, maybe a desktop role, security analyst, security technician. So a lot of those entry-level roles. Then moving to the second thing that I think held me back was my resume. So my resume was one of the templates I found online. I just took my experience, added in that resume, added my previous jobs that I had, put in my the job roles, whatever the jobs that I had on my resume, I put in those roles. I also had a section in there to show, my degree, where I graduated from, and I also had my CCNA certification in there. So the resume was cool. It was okay. I would get a couple hits off of it, but what was a game changer was looking back on that time. I started implementing a couple years ago was, even though my resume was well put together, it was like one page. I didn't really do cover letters. I never do cover letters. It was like one page. But when I reached out to a resume writer, so a resume writer is, I think, a game changer, especially if you can afford it. But what they will do is you send them your resume, or you work together with them, and pretty much they take your plain, boring looking resume. They're going to revamp it a little bit. They're not going to put something that you don't have on your resume there, but pretty much they're going to be able to highlight it more by using more keywords and things of that nature. The format's going to be a little bit different, going to be a little bit more prettier, things of that nature. I think that goes a long way, because we all know when you first start applying to jobs, a lot of times it's a computer that's going through your applications. So if your resume don't obtain none of those keywords for that particular job, then I think it'll be hard for you to get actual human body looking at your resume, because that computer may not pick it. One thing I think helped was that I did have a CCNA certification. So that's usually one of the keywords. So I think that is a lot that helps. So, like I said, targeting those entry level job roles. And then if your resume ain't getting no hits, maybe you can find a resume writer and they can help you out. Then you can see how their resume performs. So if you're finding value in this episode, please leave me a review. And if you have a friend that this may interest, please share this podcast with them. So now that you got your resume together and you know which jobs to target, next let's look at some popular websites that I think is the best for finding those tech roles. So the first website is Indeed. I think that's one of the top main websites just for job hunting as well as tech, because one thing I like about it is it has a friendly user interface. So the user experience is rather simple. Pretty much what you can do here, you type in the job role you're looking for, and then you also can type in the city. But now with the current trends in technology, it is very possible for some of those job roles to be remote. So Indeed has an option where you can filter for remote roles, and then you can just start searching those help desk analysts, those desktop support roles, those network admin, security admin, network technician, security technician roles. So Indeed, I think that's a real good website to start with. And as well as on Indeed, when you create your profile, you're able to upload your resume. And usually by you uploading your resume, a lot of recruiters frequent Indeed. So by them frequenting Indeed, they have the option where they can run by your resume. And a lot of times you may get contacted by a recruiter for a particular job that they think you're a good fit for via Indeed. So Indeed is the first choice I think you should be on. Next is pretty much tied into Indeed, but I think it's a whole separate website. Is Glassdoor. So Glassdoor, it has a function where you can search jobs. But the main thing I like about Glassdoor is if you see a job that you're interested in and you see the company, you can search that company in Glassdoor, and you can see what their former employees or current employees say about the company. And you also may see someone that has the current role that you're applying to or had the role previously, and they may have left their feedback on the company and how they think the job was, how they think management is. So this kind of gives you a good overview of what you may be going into. That way, if you see all bad reviews, it may be something you need to stay away with. Just like when you're on Google and you're looking up restaurants, you're looking at the reviews. So look at Glassdoor as a similar application where you're able to look at reviews on certain companies and see what their employees think. Like I said, the second one, Glassdoor. Next, a lot of people may not think about this, but I'm going to say Robert Half. Robert Half is probably one of the biggest recruiting companies that I know of. You have other ones out there such as Tech Systems. It's a wide range. You even have independent firms out there. But Robert Half, no doubt about it, probably one of the biggest recruiting companies out there. So the first thing to do, you can go to the Robert Half website. They have a website, and you can search any tech jobs that may be in your area on the Robert Half website. The next thing you can also do with Robert Half is you can search to see if there's a local Robert Half office close by you. If there's one close by you, then maybe you can stop by there, and usually they have a receptionist at the front door, at the front table or whatever. Or you can try to call them, or you may be able to send your resume to them, because a lot of times these Robert Half, what they'll do, they'll post jobs on sites like Indeed and Dice also. That way you'll see it, and your application will actually be going to Robert Half, and one of their recruiters will contact you. So, like I said, Robert Half is an excellent website, especially for beginners, for anyone that wants to go contract. So one path may be you get on with Robert Half, you do a contract role. One thing with the contract roles is you're not going to be there a long time. So usually maybe 1-2 years. So what it does, it gives you a lot of experience in different areas, because after your contract's up, usually they have another contract for you to go on. So that way, in a short amount of time, you're getting a lot of valuable experience. So like I said, check out Robert Half. My last option for looking for tech jobs, I think is actually the best option, is LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, similar to Facebook, you create a profile, except for with LinkedIn, this is a professional profile. So pretty much you can transfer anything that you have on your resume, transfer it to your LinkedIn profile. Now you have an online resume. And with LinkedIn, it's plenty of professionals on LinkedIn. You have hiring managers on LinkedIn. You have other employees that may be in the field that you want to get into. So you're able to network with a lot of people, and everyone on LinkedIn is really helpful. So everyone is all about community. Um, not really like Facebook, or Facebook, you see some negative things on Facebook. Pretty much on LinkedIn, it's all congratulations for new roles. It's people getting into IT, people showing what they're studying. And then also LinkedIn has jobs posted. So with the LinkedIn jobs, you can look at the LinkedIn jobs, and sometimes it'll have the profile of the hiring manager that posted the job. So if it has the profile of the hiring manager, there's nothing that says you can't contact that hiring manager through their inbox and tell them how you're interested in the role. Let them know you're interested. They may tell you to send your resume directly to them instead of applying. That way, that may be a good way to get your foot in the door. And also, even if it don't work out, you're able to build that relationship. That way, if that hiring manager has something in the future that they think you may be a fit for, then they may reach out and contact you and ask you to apply. So, like I said, my last website was LinkedIn. And like I said, I actually think that's one of the best websites. So make sure you get your LinkedIn profile up to date. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you got some action points or some changes that you can take and take some of the steps we went over. So just to recap, you're going to target those entry-level roles. You're going to get your resume straight, and then you're going to start hitting some job sites and start applying. So don't forget to follow me on IG as well as TikTok at Debt Free in IT. And if you have any questions or comments, you can email them